This week on Cars and Things Restos, we've got the LS1 back. Let's put it together. Welcome to Summer X 35. Welcome to Summer X 36. Welcome back to Cars and Things Restos. Alrighty, so we've got our LS1 back from Brant and Camo and Timmy in at MAE. They've gone through and put all new the ceramic coated cam bearings in it for us. Timmy recommends them to stop them from galling up. That's what happens with the cam bearings. Actually, I've got one there I can show you. And Camo's balanced all the crank and the new rods and pistons and rings and everything's all been balanced. I just took this out to the pressure washer. They cold dipped this. I've just gone out to the pressure washer and just got the hot wash on it and just blasted it up and down through all the oil galleries and just soaked it. So now I'll dry it off and give it a coat of CRC and can start assembling it. Let's see what happens.
This is our little LS that was in the stator. We're going to pull this thing apart and get it all freshened up to go into the stator. Get a cam kit in it, get the heads done, it's, probably bearings and rings. If it looks pretty sad in there, we may do rods and pistons. We'll see. It's only about 300,000 on, I think it had on it. So we'll get it apart and have a look. There you go, all apart. I just pulled one piston out and checked the ring gap, and it had 24 thou, which is perfect for boost. It's exactly top ring, yeah, I think so. Second ring it might be a bit bigger. So should we boost it, brother?
No.
Well, that's boring. So we'll just re-ring it. Only thing is that what I'm not happy about, it is a very old style engine. It's got old style pistons in it. They're not Teflon coated. So do we really want to reuse these?
No. It's fine, use
It's got nice rods in it. Well, we might as well forge it so we can put boost to it. What do you reckon, Travis? Forge it so we can put boost to it.
Let's get new pistons and rods and rings and bearings.
Yeah, the bearings look good actually.
Let's freshen it up. Get the heads
There's
done.
a bearing, 300,000. Not even any copper showing. It's got a little tiny wear mark just there. Look at that. Had a little bit of trash go through it, not too much. For 300,000 Ks, that is unreal. Well, I reckon the rest of it will be fine. I'm with you. We could just re-ring it, but
We'll freshen it right up.
no, fuck it. Let's
Rods,
just do
pistons, bearings,
it. New oil pump,
new
cam.
Get the heads done.
Alright, well it'll be a strong little motor when it's done then. If we're going to go forwards, you don't really need to. I'll need to do some investigating, see what I can get. But just the price of the forged stuff.
Forge it, that way if we do boost
Well,
it
the price of the forged stuff's cheap to do it that way. Alright, well that one's apart. This is going to be a bit of an ongoing saga. This one's going to take a little while. Got to get some parts for it.
Okay. Alright, we'll give a big clean off and dosed her all up with a bit of CRC. Sorry guys. Yeah, so I've dosed it all up with a good coat of CRC, stop any surface rust or anything. So the first thing I want to do before I start putting together, I want to do block the heads. I'll show you what I use to do that. The heads, sorry, the block. So what I do is I've got this stone here, this a sharpening stone, and what I'm going to do, and if you know anything about engine building, I've seen it before, this is what we do. I'll grab the core side first. I'm going to just get a bit of CRC on it, and I'll turn it up flat, And I'm going to go over the whole thing and see if I can get this as flat as I can, just with that surfaces on the both sides. The reason I'm doing this now is because I'm probably going to get grime and shit in it. So what I'll do is I'll do all that, and then I'll wash it all down with brake clean and then CRC it again. I probably should have done this before I pressure washed it, but I didn't. But it'll be right. I'll do all that, and we'll see how it comes up. Alrighty, got a visitor. Hello, mate. Come out to see if I need to buy anything.
Yeah. When it's raining, you always get people when it's raining.
Yeah.
They're in the office.
For sure.
In your case, you're out here.
Yeah, brothers at home.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so there you go. You saw me. I just cleaned up that head surface there. It's not 100%. Like, you can still see a little bit of grime there, but I'm not too stressed about that. But if you have a look on this side, that's what it looked like before, and now it's got a nice mating surface for the head gasket, which I'll copper coat anyway. Always copper coat them, so that will be sweet, nice and flat, and that'll seal. All right, I'll do the other side. Alrighty, so I whacked the crank in it. I put the bottom shells in, but I haven't put the top ones in because I want to measure. I want to get some flexi gauge. I thought I had some here when I did the last build, but I can't find it, so I'll have to get some more. I want to check it. I want to make sure 100% we've got the right bearings and clearance in them, because there'd be nothing worse than putting it together, fire it up, and it's not right. We've got low oil pressure or something like that because we didn't check the bearing clearances. So I'll go in and grab some on the way home. But something else I wanted to show you guys when you're doing these engines is, and I made the mistake on when I did that engine there. Oops, sorry, that engine there. I put it all together and I couldn't work out why the thrust bearings were opposite each other. It was weird. And what I'd done is the standard thing that you would do, if it was a Holden 308 engine or whatever, you would put all your numbers and caps all on the one side. So if you have a look there, that's facing forward with that cap number 5 there. And then we have a look at these. Number 4 is on this side with this part of the cap facing backwards. For some reason on the LS, that's how they did it. When I originally did it, I spun them around and bolted it all down, and it was very tight to turn. I went, what the hell? And then I didn't do nothing. I went home and I watched the video and realised I had them on backwards, and spun them around, and it spun in there beautiful. So there's no bearings in this at the minute, only in the bottom part. So I just wanted to tell you guys, there's a little tip. When you're doing an LS bottom end, make sure you face these caps. The first 4 face backwards and the last one faces forwards, and the numbers are on the opposite side. Alrighty, I'll get some flexi gauge and we'll measure it up in the morning. Okay. Righty, so we've just gone through and just plastic gauged all our bearings, which you got to torque these bolts down and then angle torque them. And we've come up with 25 thou clearance, which is near spot on. Would be better, but we're going to run the 40 weight oil in it anyway, so it'll be right. So that's I'm pretty happy with that. I did confirm that with Timmy at MAE. He said that's near spot on. 30 would be better, especially, or even 40 if it's a race engine. He knows it's not a race engine, but if it was something like the Stato, he'd want 40. So we're pretty happy with that. So that's good. So now I can get that crank out. I can lube it all up. I've got our nylon. For some reason I'm going to nylon, guys. I like it. I like this stuff. So I've got the nylon anti-seize stuff.
I've got heaps of it from putting engines together. I really like it. I've gone to their oil, and I really like their oil. It's better than that other brand that they're pumping out. I really like it. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to keep going on this, get that crank back out, clean it all back up, and I'm going to put the crank in and dial all that in, and then I've got to flip it and got to start the rings, gap in the rings, so we can get some pistons. Righty, so next job on the list is to gap these rings. So we've got our JE piston rings here. Grab the top ring out. Here's our ring grinder, the old manual job. Just done some calculations. Here's the sheet here, and we're going for high performance street, which is 0.0045. So when we say that, it's the minimum gap per inch of bore. So we go bore, which our bore is 3.898 times by the, so we got 3.898 times by 0045 for the top ring, which gives us 0175 thou, and the second ring's by 0.005, which is 0.19. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that top ring at 18 and the second one probably 20. I'll see how I go. So I already done one, so I wanted to make sure I got it right before I bloody showed you guys, of course. Where's my dealer gauges? So we've got here 18 thou, and there the piston ring is in there. I've got it in the right way, and I've ground that, and that just fits in there with a bit of drag. So that's what you want. You don't want to go too much, so that's got a little bit of drag on it. That's perfect. So I'm going to go through and do all the top rings, and then I'll do the second rings. I'm not going to show you how to, I might put you on the time lapse. We'll see how we go. It's a pretty long process, so I'll speed up as fast as I can, and we'll go from there. Okay, ring gaps are all done, top and bottom ring. If you're using these JE rings, the top ring is really hard, so it takes a bit to file it or to grind it. The second ring's not as hard. I actually went over on a couple. So the first ring I did at 18, second ring I did at 20 thou. Always better have a little bit more than not enough. So a couple I went over on, but what I have noticed that not all these cylinders are exactly the same. So I was lucky enough that I could go through and find the ring where I had better drag on the ring and the feeler gauge on each cylinder, and I've just about got, wow, I've got them all perfect. The last one, oh look, it's got drag on it. It's a little bit loose, and it's probably about 21 thou, but yeah, well, as I said, you're better off with more than less. There is a saying, they say, if you what's the saying? If you don't have enough, people will know. If you have too much, people won't know. Something like that. I don't know. Who cares? All right, they're done. But also another tip I'll give you guys: also check the ring gap on your oil rings. These rings are for 3.905. There is an oil ring gap too, it should have. I'm pretty 100% sure it'll tell me here somewhere. I'll read through this, but just make sure you've got plenty of oil ring gap as well. Alrighty, there we go. Next job will be to put the rings onto the pistons and rods onto them as well. Alrighty, I'll keep knocking it out. Okay, as you saw, just whacked all the pistons in it. Excuse me. I was actually going to film me doing the last one and explain what I've done, but it's pretty... I'll go through what I've done. So what I've done is, where's my ring package? There it is. So we fitted all the pistons to the rods, and I'll just flip it up on its edge, and you can see that I numbered, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, I numbered each piston. So start at 1 through to 7 on this side, which is the passenger side for us in Australia. In America it's the driver's side, of course. So went through and fitted them all up, and numbered them so I knew which piston went where with which rod. On the rod, they have a chamfer. I should have shown you that. There's a chamfer that must point towards the crank, and the non-chamfer butt up against the other con rod. Show you the bottom. So down here. So there's the con rods that butt together. So there's no chamfer here in the middle, but there's a chamfer on the outside here to allow oil to lubricate on the sides. So they must face to the crank. So I have one facing that way, one facing that way. So that's very important that you make sure you do that. So what I do is, I'm not sure if you can see it, probably not, but on the rod I always put an F for front on the piston. So when I put it in, I know that that's got to go to the front. And then you've got to orientate the pistons so your valve reliefs are in the right spot as well. They're opposite each side, the valve reliefs. So your intake is at the front on this, on the bank 1, bank 2 it's on the back. Alrighty, so that's done now. And as you would have seen, I lubricated all the rings and the bores when I put them in, but I did not lubricate the big ends, I should say, the rod bearings. All I did was put a bit of CRC on them so they spun nicely, because what I need to do now is I want to turn it over, undo all the caps, put the flexi gauge in there and check every one of them to see what they read and note it down, because you'd be bloody spewing if you only check one. Oh, that's good. And then you've got a knock in the bottom end because one of these was not correct. So it's a little bit of time process to do it, but who cares? I want 100% right. I don't want to have to be pulling this out because I've got, 2 thou clearance on 1 and 2, and I've got 8 thou clearance on number 7 because something wasn't quite right. So let's go through, check them all out, because sometimes you can find that you'll get, say, 2 thou on that one, 4 thou on this one. So you grab and you swap the shells around, and this one goes 3, that one goes 3. So that is possible. But I'm not sure what the tolerance is. I need to look it up. It should be on my computer. I'll go and look it up and we'll make sure it's right. Alrighty, I'll keep knocking it out. Also, what I wanted to say is, on this sheet from JE Pistons, it shows you how to orientate the rings,
So second ring, we had an N written on our ring. It was the same as that one there. So I put the N to the top, and on the top ring, it was chamfered. That one there, it is. Might have been either one of these. It was. Can't remember one of these, but it was an N on the top. So we put that to the end to the top. Now, they also tell you about orientating the rings, where you put the ring gaps when you put the pistons in. I did something similar to that. I just put them in the spot. Did that, made sure this was right. That's the where the oil ring butts up, and put them in. I'm not too really worried about that, because I watch Steve Morris, his race engines or whatever he calls himself in the States, and he said in one of his videos, it's not a big deal where the rings go, because they do spin, so they will line up at some stage. And I agree with that 100%, because there's nothing to stop them from spinning, not like a two-stroke motorbike engine where they have a pin in them and the rings cannot move, and they do that so they don't get caught up in the ports. So in the end, who cares? Let's put it together and make it happen. Okay, alrighty. So we've got our readings here. Now just remember, this is just plastic gauge. It's a very good indicator. It's not perfect, but it certainly helps than not doing it at all. Okay, so as you can see our plastic gauge just there, and I measure it up, and I'm measuring 2 thou. 2 thou is on the high side. Max, I reckon, be 2.5, going what they're saying. But 2 thou, I'm pretty happy with that, because we are going to run heavyweight oil in it, 40 or 50 weight oil in it. So 2 thou is pretty good. I just need the rest of them all to read up like that, and we'll be right. So now I've done that bearing, I'm going to clean all that off, push them down, and put some of the assembly lube on them, and then I can torque them all down with the grease on the head studs and get that, do one cylinder at a time, and when I'm finished, they'll be done back together. Alrighty, I'll get it smashed out. Okay, so we've done them all. I've gone through the whole lot of them, and I have found every one of them is 2 thou, except for one. I think it was number 4, was 2.5. I'm not worried about it. It's fine. There's only one bearing, and so the rest of them are all 2. So what I've gone through and done now is we've got the ARP assembly lube, which is just bloody, what's it called? Molly Bond grease. So they're all lubed up with the old anti-seize. So we've got them on. I've got grease on the threads and on the heads there, and I've gone through and I've torqued them to the first stage at 30 foot-pound. So they're all torqued to 30 foot-pound, or they will be once I've done this one. I thought I'd just show you guys. So at 30, they'll all be torqued to 30 foot-pound, and then I'll go through and torque them to 50, because that's what the card says. 3.8, 1.6 ARP 2000 cap screws, 50 foot-pound with molly. It does have a stretch on it, but I did read it. It says they don't recommend stretch. Torque bolts to 2 steps. To recommend the recommended torque, we use torque, not stretch, to tighten. So ARP like to torque their bolts down, not stretch torque them, which is fine by me because I don't have a stretch gauge. Probably should invest in one. All right, so that is at the moment at 32 foot-pound. Go down and set them all at that, nice and evenly. I'm pretty happy with the clearances. Everything's measured up except for one journal or one rod, because the journal on the other one was 2. It was only, must have been the bearing or something. A little bit different. It's 2.5. So these LS engines, they're pretty good. 47. 150. Righto, 50. There we go. The short blocks, well, rods and rotating assemblies together. Pretty happy how that's gone together. So the next stage will be to put the cam in it. Got to be very careful I don't damage the ceramic coated bearings when I put that in. So that'll be the next stage. Double row timing chain. Got a brand new Mellings oil pump, which I will probably up the pressure in it. I'll put maybe a 40 to 80 thou shim behind the spring to give that little bit more pressure on the spring. There we go. All right, it's all happening, coming together. I might ring Damo, find out where our heads are at, and we'll go from there.
Cams in, retainer plates on. I didn't get the recessed bolts. I'm hoping that the cam gear will miss that. I won't know until I bolt it on. I'll have to wait and see. A bit spewing about that. I fucking wasn't smart enough to look at that when I ordered it. So it's in, it's all lubed. I put plenty of lube on it. Went in pretty nicely. I put a couple of bolts in it and I was able to hold it. I don't reckon I scuffed any of the bearings. I was pretty happy with it. So now what I've got to do is I've got to put all the gears and everything on it, dial all the cam in and get that all done. I won't video that. I just done it not long ago on the LS2 or L98 we put in Mako. So if you want to see how to dial the cam in, go back to that video where we dialed it in on that, and that shows you exactly what I'm going to do now. So save a bit of time and I'll get it smashed out. Here we have our front plate and top plate and the rocker covers. So we went and bought some this Easy Off oven cleaner, heavy duty. Whoops, sorry, get it in focus. There we are. So we're going to spray this on, and I'll read how long it says to leave it. I'm not sure. I'll just read this. Give it a spray on. I'm going to let it soak in. We'll let it do what it does, and then we'll give it a clean off and see how good it comes up. Alrighty, let's see what happens, guys. Alrighty, so what they're saying is you can do it for 5 minutes if you heat it up to 50 degrees. So, or it's going to take 30 minutes if it's cold. So we got cold. So let's just spray it on. I'm going to really coat it, get it really nice and wet with this shit. We'll just see how good it actually is. As I said, this is the first time I've done this. Someone recommended it on the channel. So we'll give it a crack.
and see what happens. Because if it does a really good job, like I think it cost me $5.50 a can, so $11 for this shit. Just from Coles, from the supermarket. Not that I'm promoting Coles. Maybe I should have went to Aldi to promote those boys. Oh, fucking push rod sitting in there. Don't need that. Oh, this one's gunky. So let's just let this crack into it, eat into it. I might leave it for a little bit, 15 minutes or so. Well, no, I'll leave it for 30 minutes. I was going to say I might leave it 15 minutes and come back and give it another spray. But you know what? Let's leave it for what they say, 30 minutes. Let's leave it for the whole 30 minutes and see what it comes up like after that. And if it needs another dose after that, we'll give it another crack, eh? Not going to hurt. Starting to bubble already. Get right in there. All right, let's see how that goes. I'll give it 30 minutes. Okay, it's been half an hour, or just over half an hour. Let's get the pressure washer onto it and see what it comes up like. Wow. Gee whiz. Maybe we didn't get water all over the camera. Well, that was the first go. That really got into it. 100% better than what it was, but we're going to give it another go. I'm going to dose it all up again. You know what? I'm wondering if I should have come back here about 50 minutes and coated it again. But all in all, it's coming up pretty sweet. Not too bad. There we go. They've come up pretty schmicker. I'm pretty happy with that. They've cleaned up really nice. So I brought those stands out, give them a blast. So that's all it was, just this heavy duty oven cleaner. Sprayed her on a couple of times. Not a very hard job. Come up pretty nice. Very happy with that. Alrighty. Alright, we might leave that this video here. All the bottom ends together. Just going to put that front plate on, put a seal in it, put the front plate on, and the bottom end's done. So now we're just waiting on Damo to finish them heads. I think he's working on them today, so hopefully Monday or Tuesday, and we'll put all that together in the next video. Probably get it painted and into the Z. Alrighty, well thanks for coming along and watching. If you haven't subscribed, please join and subscribe, hit the bell, share with your friends, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. Sad when you got to give up working on this because you got to fucking work on this. But brother, bloody hell, hey? I know what I'd be rather working on, any of those than this bloody thing. Yeah, well.